welcome to day 2 of our meeting of ALD Connect and Beyond. So I think we're on to the Beyond, and this day is really devoted to the topic, how can we work together and why should we work together? And I mean this across not just different institutions, different organizations, patient advocacy groups. ALD Connect itself brings together 7 advocacy organizations and 5 institutions at this point, and also across industries. So I was so excited yesterday to see that we were able to get an industry advisory council together that's now going to have a more long-standing presence and be integrated into our structure of work groups and board and industry advisory council as sort of a continuous feedback loop. So, but I think the larger and more important topic, and we've discussed this internally in our group and externally, and I hope that today we'll continue this discussion, is what is the benefit to working beyond the single disease? And I feel the tensions in both directions. So on the one hand, you know, from the perspective of a parent affected or having a child with a disorder, we want all the attention on our disorder and on the life and the fate of our child, right? I mean, who wouldn't? On the other hand, I think there's much to be said that biology doesn't know boundaries, and there are many pathways and targets and drugs that could be working for different disorders, and we share nervous system structures and symptoms where we can all go back and forth and compare and contrast what might be working in one disorder might have a chance in another. So I'm, with all of these statements, I'm trying to set the stage for discussion and hope that we will really move from a why should we work together to a how can we work together, because I do think that there is a benefit there. But I also want to retain sort of the voices that might disagree and really hear everybody here, and those people that say, well, you know, I think that us having a focus on one single gene for my child is the better way to go, and understanding how that might interact with us trying to create platforms that work across diseases. So put together, I love this statement that Bob Wyborn put up. It is amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit. And we mentioned that yesterday a few times, and I think it's sort of a recurring theme. If we can sort of just say, where's the gap, you know, and who can fill it best? And maybe we should let that person do their job. And I feel a lot of what I try to do is get out of the way, and understanding how we can make things possible and make things easy to have progress occur, rather than feeling an emphasis on ownership. I think ownership often gets in the way of us actually doing something, right? We should feel, yes, we should feel committed and dedicated to what we do, but I think it's the larger cause that we want to support. So I just thought, transitioning from yesterday to today, I put this slide up that Stefan gave me of ALD and AMN, and I put it up here more to emphasize the diverse different phenotypes that are here, right? Yes, it's a single gene, but there are so many different manifestations, and we have so much that we can learn from other disorders. We can learn about myelin disorders that might be impacting cerebral ALD, and we have Jen Pharma here today from Friedreich's ataxia will be talking to us, who I think we have so much to learn from Friedreich's ataxia for AMN and adrenal myeloneuropathy, and so I think this is really should emphasize that collaboration and working more closely together can help. So just to set the stage for Jen briefly, this morning I thought quickly, what are the shared elements of AMN with Friedreich's ataxia? Just as an example, right? I mean, it's a single gene disorder, maybe gene therapy approaches that we're both pursuing. We can learn from each other. Maybe there are ways to understand which vectors may be better, which ones should be delivered by a certain route and which should not. Other similar structures of the nervous system are affected. Long tracts, dorsal columns. How do we get to that target? How do we hit that part of the nervous system that really makes a difference? There may be similar in the chronic progression rate. How do we deal with the challenge of having trials that can't last 3 years? We need to do this in 1 or 2 years. How that's going to incentivize, drug development to occur in this space. Maybe there are common data elements. I think there are many other questions, right, around oxidative stress, biomarkers, things that we share and we should be thinking about together. So half a year ago, Adeline and I and Keith and Alex and Ali and many others, we tried to launch something that would be a platform across all the leukodystrophies, and it was growing out of our contract with Picori in phase 1 that ALD Connect had to launch a patient-powered research network. One of our insights was, in phase 1, patients are actually not patient, so they're actually very impatient. So we moved away from this term, patient-powered research network, and we call it people-powered leukodystrophy research network. And I think it really acknowledges that, that we are all people affected by these different diseases, and this is the proper term. And the question is there a way of bringing together different organizations with common goals and common needs and working together? And so to our disappointment, we did not get funded in phase 2, and so the application remained an application. But I think it's a nice thing just to look at and think. Again, are there already threads, are there already commonalities that are there that we should continue to exploit and cultivate and see if we can make certain platforms where they are obvious benefits possible? And maybe there are ways to enable certain shared activities and cores. And Alex Sherman will be talking a little bit about the Neurobank and its services. But I thought this would be a nice slide just to set the stage for Adeline speaking about glia today. We have Sue Khan speaking about National Tay-Sachs Allied Diseases. We have the ULF here, we have ELA here, we have many other organizations that I think we want to bring in and hear just a few words from your perspective. How do you feel, does this fit into your activities? How does this fit into what you're pursuing, and how can we all make the sum of the parts greater than what we each are doing individually? I think that's the goal. Let's avoid duplication. Let's understand what kind of resources we can share, and try to put all our efforts to the common gaps, because I think it's the gaps that we're not addressing. We're all doing what we know, what we can do best, but we're not really talking about the gaps. So Alex will talk a little bit about Neurobank, biorepositories, and how different researchers can work together, and how we've also established a patient portal. I think that might be very interesting to share across different leukodystrophies, and how patients are reporting on their own needs and the kinds of outcomes that would be important to them. And I'm just going to stop here. And this is not for reading, but this is just to illustrate. Yes, there would be maybe a way of us communicating and working together across different cores, across coordinating and infrastructure sharing and managing together, and how can we do this, and why should we do this? And I think one reason to do this is we have to understand decision making in this whole arena, and if we can we can understand how we would make decisions together, we could convince potential funding agencies to fund us. I think if we turn a blind eye to this question, it's going to be a continuous Achilles heel for anything we want to do together. So if we don't address together how we want to work and make decisions together, the funding agency is going to see that. They're going to say, you know, we can't support something that doesn't know how it works together. So I think these are just some very practical issues that we want to probably address over the course of the day.